I have been in college for 6 years plus. Here is what I've learned.
Build apps equals not stuck in tutorial hell. Don't care what year, start the job search and apply.
Just do it and learn along the way.
This information is precious and very important, which is why I call them gems. Before we get into today's video, I'd like to talk about the Google Sheet that I made for you all. It's a document that pretty much has all of my important courses for my information science degree. I also added some classes for my community college when I was trying to do computer science before I major switched. I pretty much think that this document is going to be very helpful for you guys. I added some course conclusions, how I felt about each class that I took, along with some additional resources. So definitely check out the Google Sheet. It's going to be the first link down below in the description. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So we're going to split this video up into two sections. Section 1, covering important courses from my information science degree, and section 2, what college is really about. Going into course 1, calculus, and we're mostly going to pair each course. So I'm combining calculus 1 and 2 advice into here. And I'm going to do that with other classes as well. So what was hard overall about calculus? Well, in calculus 2, I could not understand my lectures all the way due to my professor having very sloppy handwriting. And this was something that other people in the class also complained about. So one thing I want you guys to note is be very mindful where you sit day one, because if you sit in the back like I did in Calc 2, you are definitely going to be screwed when it comes to trying to read the board. So how did I solve this? How was I able to pass this class knowing that every time I went to a lecture, I was sitting in the back and I could not read the board due to messy handwriting? I pretty much used Khan Academy's full Calculus 1 and Calculus 2 series, along with Professor Leonard's full Calc 1 in Calc 2 series. Now, the way that I worked this out was I would first obviously go to class and figure out what we were learning for the day, and then go to that exact video and lecture from Professor Leonard, watch that whole entire lecture. After I would do that, I would then move over to Khan Academy, try a couple problems out within that chapter or section we were in, and then move into the book. For my class, we had a required textbook, so I'd go into the back and do the problems that we needed to do for homework that week. So hopefully your teacher did require you guys to have a book. If so, I would do it this way, because then you're using a lot of material. All right, so that was calculus. Moving along from calculus, we have programming 1 and 2. What was hard about this course? Well, data shows that 50% of people fail their introductory programming courses. They either fail them or they drop out of them altogether, and that's due to the fast nature of writing code, doing projects, and trying to pass exams, because programming in college is a little bit different. They want you to do exams and they want you to actually memorize some of these concepts and some of these terms. So how was I able to solve this problem in programming 1 and 2? I struggled a lot back in programming 1. I can remember it like it was yesterday. It was the start of C programming for me. I had never done anything like this. All I'd done before this was pseudocode, so I was totally lost. And one thing that really helped when it came to the first project and then the first exam was that I asked for help. And you have to understand that asking for help does not mean that you're stupid, doesn't mean that you know less than the person that you're asking help for. The way how my programming 1 class went, we had a actual professor and then we had TAs. Our TA did all of the lecturing. So after I asked for help from the TA and wasn't actually given help, I then kind of asked around from my peers, people that I don't even know. And somebody was actually able to lend a hand, help me out with the project. And because of that, I was able to pass the first project, the second project, and the third. Why? I pretty much utilized his help to finish project 1, and then I used project 1 as a base to finish every other project, even though I felt like I had no idea what I was doing back in programming 1. I just asked for help. And it's not like he even wrote the code for me. He literally just helped me out, helped me figure out my bug, kind of showed me a little bit of his code, how he wrote his function and his loops. And I was like, okay, all I need to do is just do like an if-else statement and kind of do it a different way than how he did it. And I was able to figure it out, but I wouldn't have been able to figure out if I did not ask for help. So really learn in the beginning to ask for help. I don't care if it's from your peers, your professor, if you're going to tutor sessions, learn to start early and being okay with asking for help. The next course we have is data structures, and ladies and gentlemen, this class was hard for me. A lot of stressing, and it was due to the fact that this class was a 6-week summer course, super fast paced, a lot of projects, exams, and quizzes all on data structures. So I really do want to state that when you're making your schedules and you're starting to get ready for the semester, just be realistic with what you could take. I took 3 classes in the summer. It was my first time doing it that summer, and I took data structures, which was a 6-week course. Understand that your boy was absolutely stressing. So don't be afraid to look at your schedule and rethink if you have to maybe it was a mistake. Maybe I shouldn't be doing my schedule like this. Now, some advice to help you guys through this very hard course: just try to be honest with your professor. Something that I remembered that my data structure class did, we were super honest with our professor when it came to, hey, this 6-week course, we got a lot going on. I wanted to say we almost had a hurricane out here in Florida too during that time. This was years ago. So they kind of understood. He gave extended deadlines for certain projects that were coming up and even got rid of an assignment for us. So this was the first time that I'd seen a professor do something like this, just because the class as a whole was very honest, hey, we've been very struggling trying to keep up with the projects and the quizzes, and then we just kind of missed a week because of the hurricane. Can we get something extended? And he was actually able to listen to us and do that. And it's not gonna ever happen if you don't ask. So don't be afraid to be honest with your professor and ask sometimes for those extensions, because all he could really say is no. But if you're just trying to get better and trying to understand this stuff and learn the concepts, writing code on a piece of paper can be very, very valuable for you guys. So just understand that little tip that many programmers only program on a computer. So if you can whip out a piece of paper, try to write a function, try to write some type of program, and then move it over to your computer and write that code and see if what you wrote was correct and try to really learn through it, it could be very valuable for you guys, and it could definitely help out for this course. And just in general, before we move on, make sure you guys remember that tidbit that you don't just have to use that in data structures. Ask all of your professors for, deadline extensions and things of that nature. And going into our last course, we have Senior Project 1 and 2. These are pretty much the capstone courses that my university makes us take in order for you to graduate. So if you don't take Senior Project 1 or 2, you can't graduate. I'm pretty sure every degree has to take this. So computer science, information systems, information technology. And I want to say those are the only ones that I know of that have to do this type of capstone class, where pretty much you guys are in a group setting for a year plus, the fall semester and the spring semester, and we are being asked to deploy a full web application. And this has to obviously be on the cloud. Up until this, all of the projects that I've worked on in college up until this class had been locally. So everything we've made was in our local environment. So the fact that this class was no, you guys are going to be messing with Azure, AWS, it was very interesting because this is what we would be doing in the real world. So it was a lot of stress for a year plus, tons and tons of stress. So how was I able to solve this? Pretty much utilizing every resource and opportunity at my disposal. I was buying online courses from Udemy, watching YouTube videos. I'm talking YouTube tutorials on the MERN stack. Also, I didn't note that, but when you get into your capstone course, the thing that's also different is my professor was you guys get to pick whatever tech stack you want. All the other classes, and when we had group projects, they would say use .NET or you have to use this language. This course was different because we had the freedom of saying we can use whatever we want pretty much. So me and my team, we used the MERN stack. I was pretty much using all of the type of resources I could get my hands on. So overall, I would just say to try to really use your resources in your capstone courses. If you guys do have mentors, community managers, really make sure that you try to set up meetings with them to try to do peer-to-peer coding sessions. And even with your group, what is college really about? College is about fostering collaboration and developing strong teamwork skills through group projects and shared learning experiences. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care what degree you have or whatever you're majoring in. If it's STEM or non-STEM, you cannot escape group project work. And because of this, I really do feel like this is what college is about. I feel like it's about understanding that you gotta work well with others. You gotta have good teamwork skills, because if you don't, When you finish college, you're really going to struggle. You're not going to like everybody that you work with. So when it comes to college, you just need to start to get ready and start to do that now. Start being a better group member. Start being somebody that's fun to be around, fun to work with, and somebody that I can just rely on when it comes to work. Because let's be honest, no one likes doing group work in college. No one enjoys these group projects because we always know there's going to be one or two people in the group that are slacking. They know that our grade is tied together and that most of the time someone's going to do the work. So don't be that type of member. You don't know what opportunities in the future that's going to make you miss out on because you were just a slacker when it came to the important group project work. So just don't be that person. We all pay for the same class. We all pay for the same tuition. When you get into this class and you realize there are group projects or team assignments, you just need to be present. Be present within the moment and try to be a fun person to work with, and just hopefully towards the end you guys can actually finish the project correctly and get a good grade. And that's gonna be it for the video, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to go through a quick video summary. Number one, apply, and network. Make sure to just try to make friends in your major, be a fun person to be around, and be a fun person to work with. And honestly, it doesn't matter if you're a freshman or a senior, you need to be thinking about these things. School is very expensive. A lot of us go into debt just to get a greater education. Make sure that you're using your college's resources. I'm talking things like career fair, resume helps, and even going to other types of workshops. You guys don't know the opportunities that can come because you're being active and you're actually going and doing things within your college. Number two, skills. You need them. And number three, learn how to learn. It gets very difficult when we get to college because we've never been taught to understand how we all learn differently. You may be a visual learner while I may be into like listening to audio a little bit better, or I may be a very more hands-on type of person. We all need to understand how we learn. In a way, we're all self-taught. So yes, we go to college to get a skill. It's really for that HR check, and you got to make sure that you do have the skills, so once you graduate, you don't feel a bit lost. Because if you don't think it's happening, there are a lot of people graduating and explaining that they can't program or they can't do the skill that they should be able to do when they graduate. So that is definitely something, whether you're a freshman or a senior, you should be thinking about. You don't want to graduate and be lost, ladies and gentlemen. It is a terrible, terrible feeling. And that's gonna be it for the video. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.